All right, welcome to another Real Talk Tuesdays live hangout. We're going live at 8 p.m. Eastern. My name is Justin Messina, and not alongside Rob Shepard as of yet. Hopefully, he'll be able to join us in a few minutes. And this is the third part of a three-part series about going holistic. So we started off, just as a quick recap, we went through the decision-making process and having a positive frame of mind in making the actual change in implementing a holistic lifestyle, right? And in the second video, we really painted the picture of what it is to committing to a holistic lifestyle. What does it look like, and what it takes to really have a plan? Because having a plan is really the path to making sure that we're not. If we don't have a plan, we're not ready to take on the challenges that lie ahead. We also need to be able to adjust with that plan as things change, as we find new things along the way. So that's super key. And tonight, we're going to be going through the points on how to stick to these changes. And hopefully if Rob does get on, but otherwise I'll be talking a good amount, I guess. But we'll go through sticking with the decision that you made to go holistic, and sticking with it all the way through to experience and get to that point where you're seeing results, and which will help fuel you to go even further. So with that said, I want to just touch on this point that we did touch on last time, last video. Rob was talking about how you need to have this plan, right? And if you don't have a plan, it's really like suicide to not have a plan to go forward. So planning is like having your base of the food you eat, the physical activity you partake in. Everything in your life needs to have some sort of balancing point, right? To make sure that you're living according to how you want to live, and you're not letting things in accidentally. And that's where a lot of things like the mainstream media, marketing messages from different foods, different lifestyles, they're going to come at you. That's inevitable, because all the messages out there, they're not really looking out for your best interest primarily. They're primarily out there just to make money for their companies. So it's important to just, take that in and just accept that, and realize that if you're not living on your terms, and if you don't have terms, if you don't have standards of your own life, how you're living, then, you're going to be sucked into somebody else's. And a lot of times, because people aren't really looking out for other people's best interests, it's easy to get roped into something that's really not going to help you feel happy and help you feel abundance in your life. So with that, I think I want to move on from the idea of having a plan. I think I'm going to touch on it again later on, but I really do want to talk about cravings, because I mentioned it in the first video that we had, and we haven't talked about it yet. So I don't want to shortchange that point. And what happens with cravings a lot of times is I realize that without any sort of knowledge of nutrition and what cravings really are, we tend to develop this idea that cravings are a bad thing that fight against our path to living better, living healthier. But that's really not true at all. Cravings are really, a feedback loop for us. And what I mean by that is, I just want to take a step back and say, like, the human body we're full of needs, right? We have lots of needs as human beings. And to understand that, of all the needs, it's like saying I have 99 problems, right? But of all the needs the human body has, the need for taste is not one of the needs that we have, right? Our body doesn't crave tastes. It craves other elements of the food that we crave, right? So I just want to give some few examples on some of the common cravings that we have. And no one escapes cravings, right? So at some point or another, everybody gets cravings, and you need to be able to adjust to cravings and understand really what they mean. Otherwise, you'll just, this is one of those things where if you don't have the plan, if you don't have the knowledge to understand cravings, you're going to just dive into the easy route, easy gratification, quick gratification. That's going to really take you off course. So the food number one that I want to talk about is ice cream, right? So ice cream is one of those things that I've had so many conversations I can't even count with people who tell me, I'm craving ice cream, and I start to deconstruct what that might mean. And some people, some people are stubborn and they say, no, 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 I crave ice cream. Ice cream is what I crave, you know. But the truth is, the human body doesn't recognize ice cream. Ice cream is a food that was created, right, by man. Like it's full of elements. It's full of it's full of different foods, different chemicals, right, most of the time. So ice cream is a man-made thing, right? Uh, like if you said, for instance, I'm gonna eat a hot pocket, right? That's not a food. That's a developed processed food. It has some sort of bread, maybe like a wheat bread, or has a white flour or something. I don't even really know what's in a hot pocket, but there might be cheese, there might be meat, right? So there's different elements of foods in the hot pocket itself. So the reason I want to say that is because when you never crave, you hardly ever crave a food that is a commonly known food like ice cream. You crave the elements of it. So when you get a craving like for ice cream, then think about what's in ice cream. Okay, so there's sugar, there's dairy, right? There's dairy products that form the ice cream. So there's sugar, there's fats, right? So that's just to keep this simple. I don't want to get so deep into it, but so for ice cream, one of the common things you could think about is my body needs more sugar or my body needs for fat, and then think about how do I do that and keep it healthy rather than I'm just going to grab some ice cream and then I'll take care of it. Um, you're just familiar with ice cream, or you just have a craving for that because that's what you're aware of. That's what's right in front of you. But over time, you can start to develop. You'll start to develop cravings for different foods if that's part of your regular diet, and that's going to satisfy the need, right? So it's all about making these small changes one by one. But we'll get into that a little bit later. The second food I want to go into is potato chips. So potato chips are another food that clearly has fat in it, right? So there's a lot of oils made with potato chips. Every single potato chip that's packaged in a bag has some combination of sunflower, safflower oil, or something along those lines, maybe olive oil. So all different types of oils that make you crave potato chips. Another part of potato chips is salt, right? So a lot of times there's a lot of salt in potato chips. So two things in potato chips: fat and salt. So those are two things that you might crave. So then you could start to think, okay, well, if I crave ice cream and I crave potato chips, well, maybe there's a common link there. Maybe it's, maybe you're not getting a lot of fat in your diet, and how can I start to eat more healthy fat? So that would be a quick way to sort of try to get some sort of direction in the approach you're going to take next, right? Because you might start off and say, I'm going to add these things in, or I'm going to take these foods out, and you're going to get cravings. It's going to happen, and you just need to be able to direct, your next action has to be directed in the right path, or else you're just going to be completely lost. So the third food is chocolate, right? So chocolate in the sense of chocolate that we usually see, the chocolate bars out there, which have added sugar, right? So this is more I wanted to put chocolate in there because it's kind of more of a different kind of example. It has sugar in it, right? But it also has different elements in it. It has actually some compounds in chocolate that actually are mood altering compounds, right? So beyond that, there's a very key connection with chocolate and dopamine being released in your brain, and this ties into the whole mood topic as well, because dopamine is more like a happiness and a joy sort of endorphin that gets released. So chocolate might be not just for like, say, sugar, or it also has magnesium, so that's on a different level, on like a micronutrient type of level. But it could be also for a mood enhancer that you want to eat chocolate. So you might feel depressed and you want to eat chocolate, just like you're going to be on like a Valentine's Day date or something like that, and you're going to have chocolate as like a mood enhancer, right? So with that said, you just got to be aware of that, because it could be a food craving, or it could be something even outside of food. Like if you have a chocolate craving, you might actually, one of the things that you might be able to do is change your level of exercise or change your type of exercise, or add exercise, right, to help enhance your mood, because exercise naturally will enhance your mood because exercise will release some of the same brain chemicals that chocolate will, right? So it's just a better way to do it, right? So with that said, those are some ideas of cravings that are, uh, you know, good ways to sort of look at cravings and understand that, they're indicators, they're feedback for you to use and say, okay, how can I adjust now? And this is just common daily life, right? So hopefully you're not getting cravings every single day, but over time you'll get less cravings. But they aren't cravings aren't bad, or not are they're not telling you you're doing something wrong. They're just saying like, okay, look, the body needs to adjust a little bit. The body doesn't, want. The body's not saying, oh, I love that taste of potato chips. No, the body's saying, okay, I need more of some macronutrient, micronutrient, something. It needs more of it, or you're just your emotion or your mood, you crave something, right? So just those are some basics. Like obviously, cravings is a huge topic. Can't go into it all at once, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper. So, to set that stage, if you're going to make a plan, right, to move forward in a holistic lifestyle, that's a really important thing to realize, so that you can sort of adjust as things go along, because it can be really hard. I know that with without knowing what cravings represent, without understanding how to adjust to different things, it can be very difficult. That's why support is so huge. All right, I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to just check on if Rob's coming on or not, and then I will continue in a moment here. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up with a few extra points. It doesn't look like Rob's going to be able to join us, but we'll be back next week. We'll be back rolling again, and that'll be great. So, just to wrap up this Going Holistic series, I wanted to mention coaching again, because coaching is something where it can be a hard decision sometimes. Like, is coaching right for someone or not? Because you don't really there's no real gauge, right, to say like, where am I and what can a coach really do? And it's hard to have a guarantee sometimes. If a coach doesn't give a guarantee, for instance, then it's hard to say, okay, well, what am I investing versus what can I expect? What's my risk in this investment? And it's a hard thing to do, versus just saying, okay, well, maybe I'll just go at this and I'll try it by myself and see where I can go with it. And it's just a personal preference of where you're at in your life, what kind of obstacles you have, and how serious you're going to take it ultimately. So one of the things though, that it's like a misnomer with coaching, especially in this industry, like health coaching, lifestyle fitness, is that you need to completely change, especially people's relationship with food. It's really important to understand if you do have some sort of emotional relationship with food, because most people do. Most people actually do. And, food can be something that you feel really bad about, or it could be something that you feel like you're being constrained, that you don't feel like you're free. You feel like you can't let loose. So it can be really difficult. But just on a primary note with that is that if you have a base plan in place, you can be eating a really good diet, and you could be not depriving yourself if you don't want to, right? You don't have to deprive yourself in any way. You can, you know, stick to your concept of reality of what you want to do. Don't get, swayed by, okay, I'm driving by a Wendy's, I'm driving by a McDonald's, so and I'm kind of, craving something, and don't get swayed by that. If you're going to go out, find some places that are like, pretty good, decent places. If you really want to, if, you want that certain taste or you want that certain experience out at a restaurant or whatever it is. But just make your base, something very solid. So home cooked meals, very good ingredients, very whole food ingredients, and just learn to cook a little bit if you're not really into that too much. But just learn something as your base, right? And then from there, when things come up, when you have like that great night out with friends, or you want to go out to a nice restaurant, whatever it is, you can do that and you don't feel guilt, and you don't ever have to say like, no, I don't want to do that. You do what you want to do, but you know that you're coming from a place of, okay, I'm coming from a place that I know my plan, and I'm going to stick to like 90 95% is going to be home cooked, like really good fuel that you're putting in your body, right? So that's a cool point. And the way that works with coaching is, a lot of people think, oh my God, I'm going to go to a coach and they're going to have all these ideas of recommendations of what I'm going to have to do and how I'm going to completely change everything. But that's not really what health coaching is at all. And at least it's not how I do it, or I know that's not how Rob does it either. Health coaching is really about, an integrative approach, and it's step by step. So it's really about where you're at now and how do I make small steps in the right direction. Because just on a practical level, it doesn't work when someone tries to say, okay, I'm gonna eat like, I don't eat really healthy right now. I every kind of just eat whatever I want, and now all of a sudden I'm gonna go vegan. You know, if you have willpower and you know how to do it, you can go for it. But you're gonna make mistakes that you don't even realize, and you might end up worse than you are right now. So that's just like a bad strategy to just like kind of go. I'm not going to say it's bad to go all in. It's definitely good to mentally go all in, but without the right knowledge, without the right people around you, it can be really devastating if you just like completely change everything, because you could be losing so many nutrients and losing so many things that you're currently getting from possibly bad sources, but things that your body might really need, and you're not getting it from, say, a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet, or just a new diet that you try out that you've heard somewhere. It could be really detrimental. So the way to really go about it, if you're going to do this, especially if you're going to do this alone, go do it step by step. That's obviously what coaching. One of the best things about coaching is to be able to have someone there that knows what they're doing, that's been through it. Pretty much every coach I know has been through this process themselves. They didn't just grow up healthy. They Most people grew up not living so healthy, not eating so great, and they had to learn it, right? They had to learn it. They had to go through it. They had to go through the setbacks, go through the, some pain even sometimes. It's real. It's real life. So that's really what that's about. And again with emotions, one of the things about emotions is, I want to be real on this hangout. This is like Real Talk Tuesdays, because I hate the fluff. I hate the beginnings. A lot of people do, like, they'll do a beginning of a hangout or beginning of a video, and it's just like fluff. It's like, hey, how you doing and stuff. But to get really down to it, like, these hangouts really aren't about like making people feel good or anything like that. It's about getting down to the point. And if to be completely real, like, you have to like draw state from within in your life, right? So what I mean by that is, you could get as much information as you want from watching videos like this. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you can't you can't become happy or become like fulfilled by watching information and saying, okay, I'm gonna feel good because of what they're saying, and where other people are at, or whatever it is that might level up your emotion in that moment. At the end of the day, like, whole going holistic or anything around lifestyle that's going to move you in a new direction that takes a lot of work is going to be something that really empowers your whole life. It's going to level up your emotions, but at the end of the day, you're the only one that can change your emotions around it. One that can change your whole mental state, and your awareness around all your emotions. And controlling that gives you the ability to control your mind and make decisions the way you need to make them. And I'm really saying this because it's so important to not react, because most people will see something, they react to it. They see something else, they react to it. And there's so many things these days all around us, all these stimuli all around us that just come at us one by one by one by one. And if you're just taking it in, taking it in, taking it in, then after a while you don't even know like who you are, what kind of emotions are going through you, what you're thinking about. You're just going to be a mess if you just logically think about it. It's just there's so much coming at us these days. So you need to have a shield up where you say, okay, this is who I am. I know who I am right here, and all the stimuli, it's going to just bounce off. And then it's like saying no, 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 no. And then every once in a while, okay, yes, I'm going to accept that. Or even better, seek out the particular information you're looking for and bring it in, right? So when it comes to like holistic changes, seek out people who want to do what you're doing, who are on your path, people that have already done it, right? Again, coaching is a great option if you're really, really serious. And but if you can't do coaching, you can't afford it, or whatever reason you can't do coaching, stick with people who have been through it. Do as much as you can to get around people that can help you through the process, because it's so important, again, to have the support and to stick with it, because doing it on your own is always just super hard, and it's really not ideal. So with that said, I think I'm going to wrap up now. I don't really know how long it's been, maybe about 15-20 minutes, but we'll definitely have more of the holistic health and lifestyle topics, and more food topics as well. Next week, I think we're going to do something a little different, but not going to really let the cat out of the bag yet. But that'll be the end of the Going Holistic series. And like we usually say together, but I'm going solo tonight, so I'm going to just say, live Vision Fit. I'm out.